Every message we hear, whether from the government, a business, a school, or social media, is not delivered randomly. Behind every announcement, campaign, or conversation is a structured process, a specific setting, and carefully chosen tools. Communication is more than simply talking or sending information. It operates within organized environments, follows a clear process, and requires the right methods and channels to become effective. Good day everyone, I am Mamina, and in this lesson, we will explore the different communication settings, understand how the communication process works, and identify the appropriate tools and media channels used in various situations. Communication settings. They are the different places or situations where communication takes place. Each setting has its own purpose and way of sharing messages. So there are four major communication settings. First, government communication, communication in civil society, communication in the private sector, and other communication settings. When we say government communication, it includes all official activities that explain government plans, decisions, and actions. It promotes transparency, patriotism, and legal processes. It can also be active and passive. When we say active, the information was planned and has a systematic dissemination where majority of the citizens was able to know the information. When we say passive, you can only receive the information when you request for it. For example, when you request a barangay clearance to your respective barangays. So, under government communication, there are three types. First, government-wide communication. Second, communication on benefits. And last, institutional communication. When we say government-wide communication, it talks about the updates on government activities, decisions, and actions. For example, when the Department of Health posted on their social media accounts that there is a nationwide vaccination on COVID, for example. Next is communication on benefits. It ensures citizens receive information about government services or assistance. For example, when the beneficiaries of the 4Ps receive the information that their cash assistance is ready through their GCs or websites that announces informations about the release of their cash assistance. Next is institutional communication. This one, it enhances visibility and clarifies values of a government office. For example, the DepEd, wherein in their account there is the mission and vision that is posted there, and it clarifies the values that the DepEd stands for. Another major setting of communication is communication on civil society. This is done by non-government organizations, advocacy groups, and organizations promoting environmental protection, human rights, animal welfare, peace, and health. So, example of this is the Haribon Foundation. Haribon Foundation is a group or a civil society wherein they spread or communicate with other people through traveling from different places and then spreading the information about the importance of promoting environmental protection, and they also use their social media platforms and their websites, as well as they conduct seminars and symposiums to the different places that they went to. So another major setting of communication is the communication in the private sector. When we say private sector, we refer to the business owners and entrepreneurs that uses communication to disseminate information about their products and services, as well as to persuade their customers. So, this type of communication is often strategic and market-driven. It includes ads, social media posts, advertisements that help companies reach consumers and increase sales. For example, the Jollibee Corporation posted on their Facebook page that they have a buy one take one promo. So that is an example of a social media post that communicates with their consumer. So lastly is other communication settings. So communication can take place in these other communication settings such as in schools, communities, and online environments. So in schools, it is used for instruction, guidance, and coordination among students, teachers, and parents. Communities, it involves the daily interaction and social participation of the locals. And in online environments, it circulates around the digital platforms and social networking sites where communication is instant and global. Communication is a process. So last time, we've discussed that one of the principles of communication is a process because it follows a sequence of actions and steps such as the encoding, decoding, and feedback of the message. So let's now proceed to the three directionality of communication, which are vertical communication, horizontal communication, and the downward communication. Vertical communication, this happens when information flows between people at different levels in an organization, such as from employees to supervisors or from supervisors to employees. For example, a principal giving new school policies to teachers or teachers submitting reports to the principal. Let's proceed to the horizontal communication. This kind of directionality of communication happens when people who have the same position or rank share information with one another. For example, two teachers planning a lesson together or co-workers discussing a project. So, these two have the same level or rank. Lastly is the downward communication. This happens when instructions or information are given by someone in a higher position to those under their authority. For example, the President of the Philippines announcing new national policies to government agencies and citizens. Let's now discuss the elements, terms in the communication process. So these are encoding, decoding, sender, message. When we say encoding, it is the way on how the sender puts the ideas into symbols or actions. When we say decoding, it is the way on how the receiver interprets the message or action. When we say sender, it refers to the one who created the message or the origin of the message. When we say message, it refers to the information that is being transmitted or conveyed. Another elements are receiver, response, feedback, and noise. When we say receiver, it refers to the audience of the message. When we say response, it is the immediate reaction from the message. When we say feedback, it is the returned information that validates understanding. And when we say noise, it refers to the unplanned interference that affects clarity, or it refers to the barriers. Methods and tools in communication. So number 1 is print materials. These are written or printed items used to share information such as newspapers, books, and posters. This method is most effective in formal or educational settings such as classrooms, offices, libraries, and community centers where people can read, refer back to, and study the material at their own pace. It is also useful in public awareness campaigns where visual materials like posters and flyers can reach a wide audience. Next is non-print materials. These are audio or visual tools that communicate messages through sound and images such as radio, television, and videos. This method is most effective in mass communication or informal learning settings like classrooms for educational videos, community programs, public announcements, or entertainment media where engaging the audience through sight and sound helps capture attention and improve understanding. Another one is technologies. These are electronic devices used to create, store, and send information such as computers, smartphones, and tablets. This method is most effective in modern workplaces, educational institutions, and remote communication settings where quick sharing, collaboration, and access to digital information are needed. It is also useful for online learning, virtual meetings, and social media campaigns where reaching a wide or distant audience efficiently is important. Okay, lastly is online tools. These are internet-based platforms used to send messages and share content quickly with others, such as email, social media, messaging apps, and websites. This method is most effective in virtual learning, remote work, and social engagement settings where instant communication and real-time collaboration are needed. It is also ideal for marketing campaigns, information dissemination, and connecting with a wide or global audience efficiently. In addition, choosing the right media channel depends on several factors, including the urgency of the message, the number of people to be reached, the type of message, how easily the audience can access the channel, and the reading or comprehension ability of the audience. Considering these factors ensures that the message is communicated clearly, effectively, and appropriately for the intended audience. In conclusion, understanding communication settings, tools, and processes helps communicators send clear and accurate messages, avoid misinformation, and reach the right audience effectively in different situations.